So we have Thursday, July 23rd, 2026. AAA, AA, High A, Single A, and Rookie Oscars. We're going to discuss who is the top 4 teams in the League Championship Series for the complex leagues. We discuss who So let's go talk. So in the playoffs, it was the best 1 week championship series on Saturday, July 25th, and then Sunday, July 26th. Which we World Series Game 1. And Monday 27th is World Series Game 2. World Series Game 3 is 28th. Typically, yes, normally the World Series is Saturday, and it would be it's the day after the playoffs on 24th, the playoff break, and then but typically though, it is determined 26th is usually off day. Sundays is for the complex leagues, the Florida and the Arizona and the American Summer League, but they're having the playoffs be 4 days in a row. But the Arizona complex league, there's no similar teams in Arizona, and there's no team, so they can play in the complex leagues. So it's no problem. I don't believe there's a single team in Arizona for any league, even like AAA. I don't believe so. Yeah, but single A usually have in the morning. You got like 11 a.m. Eastern, noon Eastern, typically, unless those teams are in like the Florida Complex League, or which there has been occasional games like at 6 Eastern, because their single A affiliate might be in like the Carolina League instead of the Florida League. Anyways, let's go talk about the scores. So Whoosher 15-word Jackson, 14-word rookie. Things Rochester 5-2 Ruffalo, and the Range from 5 inning. Following at 4-2. And the Bearmen needed to complete the game as 4.5 innings if the home team is in which they were still. And then it is if the home team, if the weight, if it's not tied up, if the weight doesn't tie it up, then like in the top, if they play top of 6 and it got tied up, then they would continue the game tomorrow, the rest of the innings, and then, but since they can call off, they call off. I know more in Major League they want to finish, but Major League's kind of been up to this more. They still do call off, but they try to finish more games. Major League, but not always though. They hyper-focused on that either, they will call off games, especially the final day of the series in Major League Baseball. Minor League though, they'll call off like every game. Short, no matter what. But they're more about getting the games in than like actually like, hey, who wins or loses. It's more about they getting experience for the teams and like using the experience in those at-bats and the fielding scenarios and the pitching, and using that towards like getting like working on balls and strikes, working on your fastballs, your curveballs, your changeups, your screwballs, your splitters, all your pitches, you have, and working on them. But yeah, we have. And Iowa had 1 run in the first, went out with 3 in the second, and both teams 1 in the fifth. And Gwinnett wins 4-2 over Iowa. And Gwinnett gets a 50th win in Range from 5 over Iowa. 3-13 Review. Spin looks for 2-0 Syracuse. We have 300 Amps. Net and Memphis 7-5 Durham and things. St. Paul 43 Columbus. Columbus smoked St. Paul game 1 of the series. And then St. Paul smoked Columbus game 2 of the series. And then St. Paul came back and wins in game 3. In game 3 of the series, so they're up 2-1. Both teams scored 2 in the third. And then Columbus won the 9th. 2 in the 9th for St. Paul. And then Omato Niners like Tacoma 7-2 Reno. Second round 4-2 Oklahoma City. Las Vegas 6-5 or El Paso. And then Nashville Shrine make up on 25th of England weather in the area, like rain in the area. Rain thunderstorms in the area. And do rain in the area Norfolk Charlotte. They're playing on the 24th. A double header. So Norfolk Charlotte double header is starting game 1 at 5 Eastern. Game 2 is at 7:30 Eastern. Because it's 30 minutes, well, around 30 minutes afterwards. Then we have Nashville Shrine game 1 is at 6:05 Eastern. And then game 2 is 8:35, 9:05 Eastern, but Shrine is in Texas. Texas though. I believe they're a Houston Astros affiliate. They're shooting in Space Cowboys. So, yeah, so that makes sense. But they're 5:05. It would be 5:05, 7:35, 8:05 Eastern on its range. And yeah, double Portland 3-2 Ravens. Harrisburg 10-0 Rain. Erie 8-7 Chesapeake. Erie 8-7 Chesapeake. 2-1 Northern Akron. Bucks 1 Northern Richmond. Hartford 3-0 Richmond. Montgomery 6-4 Birmingham. Right, C5 Nexa. Oregon 7-4 Tulsa. Frisco 3-0 San Antonio. And innings. Springfield 5-4 Western. Then 2-1 Richmond. In the makeup of the July 21st game, there's no double on Wednesday. They put the double on Thursday. And Somerset won Nigeria. Somerset was 1 in the. Or Somerset with, I said 1. Somerset with 2 in the first. New Hampshire 1 in the third. Then 3 in the fourth. 4 in the fifth for Somerset. And 2 in the sixth. That's the game. So Somerset. And 9 runs, ninths. New Hampshire 3 runs, 5 hits, and 3 errors. That's 3 errors really. New Hampshire gave themselves extra chances. And you can't do that. But it would have been a lot closer. He would have been. And the second game of the way. Somerset won 8-3 over New Hampshire. Somerset 8 runs, 8 hits. New Hampshire 3 runs and 7 hits. So small type of pitches. That's the game pass blows. But still, that kind of thing. But it was still a little better than the errors department at least. And the second game, Somerset won the first. 1 in the second for New Hampshire. And in the fourth for Somerset, 2 in the fifth for both. And really what blew it open was the 4 and 6. And then, which is not bad though. Only have like 4, I guess, so it's not great though, but I mean, it's not ideal either though. And then Pensacola wins game 1, that's the better. 4-3. Pensacola 3 in the first. And then 1 in the third for Columbus, 1 in the fifth for Pensacola, and then 2 in the sixth for Columbus. So Columbus 3 runs, 7 hits. Pensacola 4 runs, 7 hits. And then the second game of the better, the makeup of July 21st, which is Tuesday's game. Pensacola wins 1-0. Columbus had a 3-hit shout, 7-inning shout, and then Pensacola with 1 run and 5 hits. Pensacola scored the only run in the second in the makeup game. In the makeup the better, and then rain Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi make up the better on 24th, Friday 24th, and that'll be 6:05 Eastern. It's in Corpus Christi, Texas. So it's at 5:05 local, and then game 2 is at 7:35, 8:05 local, which is 8:35 to 9:05 Eastern. And then we have High Frederick Rome 1-0 in the 7th, bottom of the 7th. Frederick Rome scored the only run in the 4th, bottom of the 4th, and then the top of the 6th. Frederick with a run in the 6th. And obviously, since it's a tie, I can't call off. And so it's only 2.5 innings at most. But it could be a little longer. Alright, so I'm here. canceled or aired out, I guess, the game. The recording did. We had Bottom of Suns, Frederick, and one on the Bottom of Suns. July 24th, it's going to be played. Rome with one in the bottom of the fourth. Frederick with one in the top of six. Obviously, they can't cut off. If it was after 5 innings, they'd cut off, but nope. But since they only got 2.5 innings, they're going to play tomorrow on 24th. Obviously, they're not going to play it. The only weird thing is if it was a Sunday game and then they played again as it was a tie game, they'd have to if they don't play again the rest of the season, they call it a tie, or if they had to finish the game like a couple weeks later in like Frederick's ballpark, or that'd be the only oddball thing, which it's happened, in Major League and in like minor league baseball. It happens, it does, but because Major League more does do the home away right proper, but still with a game like this, they still do like innings. If that's the only time they're ever going to make up the rest of the season in another team ballpark in Major League, they're not going to just cancel an off day for both teams. Have a mutual off day just for play, like say 5 innings, like say 3 innings of a game, and that's it. Like maybe an hour of a game. That's about it. So if that, so yeah, by myself, that might be a couple innings. That's like maybe 30-45 minutes. Even if each inning is 20 minutes on average, it's 20, 40, maybe 50 minutes. So yeah, but maybe that's with and then maybe extras might be a little bit, but we have Everett 10-2 routine. Rentowings, Jersey 6-5 for Brooklyn. Dean 5-3 serves as high. Weeks 8-5 runs. 10 innings, but 3-2 Quincy's. Sulpan 4-2 Wisconsin. They claim 15-0 for win. Peoria with the only run game in the bottom of the ninth. A 1-0 win for West Michigan. Wolverine 4-3 Asheville. Cowheads were 8-5 over Vancouver. Tracy 7-6 Spokane. Wilmington beats Italy in the first game. The originally scheduled game for July 23rd. 2-1. Huxley at 1 in the fourth. 1-2 both runs in the sixth. In the second game, Huxley dominates Wilmington 2-4. The first game, Wilmington 2. Huxley with a run on 8 hits. Wilmington with 2 runs, 5 hits. In the second game, Huxley dominated 4 runs, 9 hits here. Wilmington 4 runs, 10 hits here. So really, they got Huxley got lots, 5 pitches, pass balls, 4 runs, press, that type of thing. Drop third strikes, and they were able to advance because there's no base open. There's no runner on first, so they were able to advance me. And yeah, and we had Huxley 3 in the first, 1-2 in the first. Both teams 1 in the second, 1 in the third for 2 in the third for Huxley. I said 1 in the third, 2 in the third. For Huxley, 1 in the fifth for both teams. And then in the sixth inning, Huxley scored 5. So really, that was the big difference. Otherwise, it was 7-4, so it was still manageable for Wilmington, but Huxley blew up in the sixth. Then in the doubleheader makeup of July 22nd, Winston wins the second game. First game of the Winston wins the first game of 1-0. Greensboro 2-hit shutout in game 1. Winston had 5 runs, 5 hits in a run. I said 5 runs, 5 hits in a run for Winston. Winston with their only run in the fourth. Bottom of the fourth. Then Greensboro with 7 runs, 10 hits there. They win. Or Winston 7-6. Like I said, Greensboro 7 runs, 10 hits there. Winston 6 runs, 10 hits there. So Greensboro 2 in the second, 1 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth for Winston, and 5 in the sixth for Greensboro. 2 in the seventh for Winston. And then postponed Hub City Greenville on the 24th. You can see Asheville. Frederick and Rome are playing. Frederick and Rome are playing game, or playing the continuation of July 23rd at 4 Eastern. And then Frederick and Rome, the originally scheduled game is at 6:45 Eastern. And they're just doing that just in case there's extra innings involved, because it is tied at 1, which there is a possibility of extra innings, so they're doing that just in case extra innings are involved. That's why it's a 2-hour break. like a 2-hour gap, and then maybe 45 minutes between this first game and the second game. Like originally scheduled. So, but there you have a 45-minute gap if it went. So that makes fair sense. They're probably expecting at least probably an hour and then an hour and 45 minutes between the two games. So it's not terrible. You play a little bit, then get warmed up, then come back and get warmed up a little bit, relax. So then the first game between Brook and Jersey Shore is at 5:35 Eastern. Game 2 is at 8:35 Eastern. MiLB July 21st, which is Tuesday's game. And sometimes they play doubleheaders on Friday. They schedule 2 doubleheaders for Friday. And that's just because more people can go out in the ballpark maybe after work on Fridays. They're able to come out earlier, or Saturdays. Double more. These minor league ballparks are busier, so a lot more busier. I can't blame them, which is true. A lot of them are busy, especially for doubleheaders. You see, it doesn't matter what level. See, doubleheaders first game is always a lot less busier than the second game. Unless it's like the weekends, like maybe Fridays. So people make it out of work early, or if some people have Fridays off. So. Then Greenville Hubs Greenville at 4:30 Eastern. Game 2 is at 7:30 Eastern in that time range. Then in the same line we have Daytona 5-2 Clear, Lakeland 5-0 Jupiter, Palm Beach 5-1 Tampa. In the Dundon Bradenton game with 6.5 innings played. Dundon scored a run in the 5th, run in the 7th. They scored on the 7th because they were already at lead 1-0 anyways. I got Friston 8-0 Augusta, Fayetteville 10-2 Fredericksburg, Justin 2-0 Wilson, Columbia 2-0 Campus, Liz 11 Center Lake Elster, Justin Favres Jose, Stockton 0 Olympia, Fresno 17-6 Ranch Cuba, and then Fort Myers 1 followed St. Lucie 1-0 over Fort Myers. Fort Myers St. Lucie 1 in the 3rd, and that was it. And then make up of July 27th. Make up of June 27th. Fort Myers wins 3-1. So in the first game ever, COC 1 run, 8 hits, 2 errors. Fort Myers 2 hits. In the second game, Fort Myers had 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors. COC had 1 run, 5 hits. And Fort Myers won the first, 2 in the second. And then COC's only runs in the 7th. And in the DeMarva House C doubleheader, DeMarva wins the first game, 10 runs and 11 hits. DeMarva's House C 9 runs, 11 hits. That was an 8. House C with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the 3rd. And then DeMarva 4 in the 5th, 5 in the 5th for House C, and 5 in the 6th for DeMarva, 1-8 for DeMarva, and that was it. So you think 9-4. Oh, that's DeMarva needed a big run, but they gave 5 in the 4th, and then 5 in the 5th. Yes, it's 5 in the 5th, not 5 in the 4th, 5 in the 5th. And you think, that's over. But no, he'll see 5 in the 6th over, and 1-8. So and then the second game of the order, DeMarva 13 runs, 9 hits, and air. He'll see 5 runs, 4 hits, and 5 errors. So he'll see really blew it open with the errors. And that 8, especially in the 7th thing. 2. DeMarva had 2 in the 3rd. And he'll see with 5 in the 3rd. And the 6th, 8, and 7th. So that really blew open. And Marie Chicory on the 26th. Marie Chicory is playing at 126th. Game 1 is at 1 Eastern. Game 2 is at 3:30, 4 o'clock Eastern time. And they have to play doubleheader on the 26th because they do play doubleheader on the they do play doubleheader on Friday. So they have to play doubleheader on Sunday because they don't play back-to-back days of doubleheaders. And they must play on Sunday because MiLB Chicory must not play anymore this season. So they want to get the games in and and if they have to cancel one of them, one or both, they will, but on Sunday because of rain. But they do not want to, though. Or, they do not want to, but and then in Rookie, we have July 23rd. We have American Summer League, Florida Complex League, Arizona Complex League. Mention who plays the Florida Complex League playoffs. So you have Tigers 5-3 Yankees, Twins 2 Warriors, Cardinals 11-3 Mets, Blue Jays 8-1 Phillies, Celia Mendoza, and this is a mix of Celia Mendoza at 10-8 or Elia Batista. Numbers 14 by Blue Jays. Orioles Black 7-0 Padres Brown. Astros Blue 29-7 Cardinals 13 White Sox. Rangers Blue 13-2 Yankees. Nationals 9-5 Rockies. Sixers were 7-1-8. And Blue Jays were 9 Tigers on. Tigers on had scored 7 in the 7th. And Blue Jays were to score 3 in the 7th to come tied up. Also, and Mets were Giants. Players go 9 or the Brewers Blue. And Red Bombers 3-2-9 were Miami. Reds for 2-4-2 Red Sox Blue. Marlins 9-6 Colorado. Twins Tigers 2-5-4. Giants Black 4-2 Arizona Black. Cubs Red 7-5 Rose Venture. Blacks 10-6 Rose. Rangers Red 14-6 Reds Blue. Cubs Blue 12-5 Orange. Astros Orange 8-7 Early Mega. And Tampa Bay 12-8 Red Sox Red. Arizona Red 5-1 Pirates Black. Brewers Gold 8-6 Pirates Gold. Steelers 8-7 Rays. In the Florida Complex League, Pirates 12-0 Braves. Astros 7-0 Nationals. Rays 13-6 over Red Sox. White Sox 4-1 over Dodgers. Mariners 9-4 Brewers. Rockies 4-0 Flags. Rangers 21-3 Angels. Padres 3-2 Royals. Diamondbacks 5-1 Giants. Cubs 7-1 Brains. And so in those leagues, the teams who don't make the playoffs will go to, or any team in general, I guess. After they finish the playoffs, they'll keep the teams who don't make the playoffs. They'll be able to evaluate the rosters more and see which players would benefit on single A rosters. Maybe they can put them on the bench in single A. Or they can move them up. Maybe they can skip single A. Maybe they're that good and skip single A. I know there's one of them that was in single A, moved them down to the Arizona Complex League, and then did all the overkill in that league. Had 400 in that league. And was able to say, you're going to skip single A again. So, you're going to skip single A. And you're going to skip single A second time. And then go to, Dean. There goes Dean. And then in the Florida Complex League, you have Orioles, Astros, and Rays, Blue Jays at noon Eastern. And then the League Championship Series is TBD to be determined for the Arizona Complex League. And then you have the World Series, which is 12 p.m. for the Eastern for the Florida Complex League. 9 Eastern is the Arizona Complex League, and that's normally when they play. Anyways, but it's a little bit later. It's instead of 11 a.m. Eastern, sometimes it's noon Eastern. And then it's just an Omega Summer League starting on the 25th and the 24th, I guess. So, yeah. So a little bit less games to mention there. A good bit of games less to mention, yes. So, yeah. I can actually look at this teams. Standings. Rookie leagues. Let's go to rookie leagues standings. Oops, it's about rookie. Standings. Go standings home. Let's go to Arizona Complex League. And PBSF Division. Okay, so the winners were the Rockies of the Arizona Capital East. Then we got the Reds and the Mariners. So it's going to be the number 1 seed, the Rockies, 40-19 of the Arizona Capital East. The Arizona Capital Reds of the Central. And then we'll take on the Mariners out of the Arizona Capital West. 36-24. So Reds are the 3 seed, having 1 game canceled. And the Mariners hadn't played 1 more game. They're still even anyways, and then the Angels had a game more than the Reds did. They ended up losing that game. But they had that 1 game. They had a game lead over the Padres and the Giants. And so it'll be the 1 seed, the Rockies, take on the 4 seed Angels. And then the Reds are the 2 seed, the Mariners, or the Mariners, are 2 seed. And the Mariners are the 2 seed. And the Reds are a 3 seed. And the Angels are 4. Rockies are a 1.